Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. We're reaching you live from Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. You can also watch this news on all social media handles displayed on your screen. Let's begin with the headlines. Chinese President Xi Jinping embarks on diplomatic tour in Paris. Russian Orthodox Church celebrates Easter according to Julian calendar. And National Defense College promotes military bilateral relations and cultural interaction in quest for regional peace and security. Let's begin with the electoral matters. Chad is set for the country's first presidential election since the death of long-serving ruler Idris Deby. Kolo Mohammed tells us more.
Currently Prime Minister of the interim government, is one of the main challengers of the junta leader who doubles as a co-leader and head of junta. Deby's decision to contest in the election raised deep concerns, even though for most Chadians the major concern is the emergence of a government via a democratic process. For the head of the junta, electorates feel his manifesto may be in tune with current happenings in the country, while other candidates get listened to by the majority of the electorates. For Masra, a minimum package of dignity in his program includes an ambitious 5-year plan to create 200,000 jobs divided equally between the private and the public sectors. His grassroots campaign has also promised to deal with other urgent issues like access to electricity, water, and security for all. Chadians responded to most candidates in chants, saying they would love to live in a country of peace and reconciled. So the victory on the horizon is not that of one side against another, but that of all the people of Chad. The victory should be that of the hope of peace, the victory of an enthusiastic future over a difficult past. The candidates urge supporters to be vigilant at the polls so that their votes will count. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
And ahead of the historic presidential election in Chad, the special envoy to the Lake Chad Basin Commission congratulates the transitional authorities in Chad, the people and friends of Chad, for the journey so far towards the return of the country to democratic constitutional order through peaceful elections. In a statement, the special envoy Babagana Kingibe said, being mandated by the Summit of Heads of State and Governments of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, he and his team have since May 2021 closely followed and accompanied the Chadian people and the government in their transition process. He said the Chadian people and the transitional authorities throughout this journey exhibited great patriotism, mutual tolerance, and the necessary spirit of compromise to change the Chadian narrative and now commits to building a peaceful, stable, and prosperous democratic country. He therefore urged all the presidential candidates, political parties, and leaders, as well as the general public, to maintain the relative peace and good order demonstrated during the campaigns, to continue to remain calm, and after voting, patiently await the announcement of the outcome of the elections by the body legally authorized to announce results. He further urged that any challenges, complaints, or grievances that may arise be taken up peacefully for settlement through the constituted electoral guidelines and laws, or if necessary, the judicial processes. President Faure Gnassingbé of Togo's ruling party has won a parliamentary majority in April's legislative elections, paving the way for the longer-time leader to extend his rule under a contested constitutional reform. Gnassingbé's Union for the Republic Party won 108 of 113 seats in the vote held last Monday. According to provisional results announced by the country's National Electoral Commission, turnout was 61%, but the triumph is total for Gnassingbé, who has been in power since 2005 after his father, Gnassingbé Eyadema, ruled the West African state for nearly 4 decades. Under the new constitution approved by lawmakers in April, Gnassingbé will be able to take a new post as president of the Council of Ministers a role similar to Prime Minister that is automatically assumed by the leader of the majority party in Parliament. Opposition parties denounced the constitutional reform as an institutional coup, creating a role tailor-made for Nasingbe to evade presidential term limits and extend his family's dynasty. However, regional election observers said they were satisfied with the April 29th election, which also saw a vote for regional representatives who will help select the membership of the Senate, a newly created second chamber. Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Paris for diplomatic talks with French President Emmanuel Macron and European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen. Here again is Kolo Mohammed with details.
President Macron's hopes that Chinese president's visit will reduce trade imbalances are unlikely to be easily fulfilled owing to mounting trade disputes between Europe and China. France is backing the European Union probe into Chinese electric vehicle exports, and in January, Beijing opened an investigation into mostly French-made imports of brandy, a move widely seen as retaliation for a growing set of European Union probes. In an interview, Mr. Macron said he hopes to obtain reciprocity of exchanges and have the elements of French economic security taken into account. Officially, President Xi Jinping of China is scheduled to have meetings first with French President, then European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen. The EU's 27 members, and in particular France and Germany, are divided on their attitude towards China. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz will not join Macron and Xi in Paris due to prior commitments. France may also seek to make progress on opening the Chinese market to its agricultural exports and resolve issues around the French cosmetic industry's concerns about intellectual property rights. France has been keen to push China into pressing Moscow to halt operations in Ukraine, with little progress apart from Xi's decision to call Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky for the first time shortly after Macron visited Beijing last year. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
The Russian Orthodox Church follows the Julian rather than the Gregorian calendar and celebrated Easter this weekend, while most Western churches observed the major holiday on March 31st. The leader of the church prayed for peace between Russia and the rest of the world. Here again is Kolo Mohammed.
President Vladimir Putin and scores of other worshippers in Moscow attended an Easter service on Sunday, led by the head of Russia's Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill. At the service, the Patriarch prayed for the protection of the sacred borders of Russia, expressing hope that God will stop the strife between Russia and Ukraine. Orthodox Christians, including Russian Orthodox Church, followed the Julian rather than Gregorian calendar and celebrated Easter this weekend, while most Western churches observed the major holiday on March 31st. Putin, for whom the Orthodox faith is central to his worldview, always attends services during major church holidays. At Christmas, he usually attends more intimate services in churches outside Moscow. On Easter, he traditionally goes to the gold-domed Christ the Savior Cathedral, which was built in post-Soviet times and has become a symbol of the state's symbiotic relationship with the Orthodox Church. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
In other news, the National Defense College is promoting military bilateral relations and cultural diplomacy to strengthen synergy among allied nations in the quest for regional peace and security. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was the focus of the 2024 International Day for Course 32, National Defense College, Abuja. The commandant of the college and Minister of Foreign Affairs emphasized that cultural exchange is important in fostering peace and unity within nations and key to upholding the principles of tolerance and respect for diversity.
Terrorism, as you have said, does not affect just one person or one people or one nation. It affects the entire globe. United, we must stand and we must face our common challenges even as we celebrate together, let us also fight against those ones that don't want us to have peace.
If we can have diplomatic ties with countries in the region, that will ultimately create better understanding, better cooperation, and when the need will come, we'll easily enjoy the best of cooperation from the various countries that might be related to the circumstances of.
The Army War College, Nigeria, also organized its International Day for Course 8 2024 to further foster unity among participating officers and the militaries of allied countries.
I will urge you to commit to working together so that you can ensure a more prosperous, peaceful and sustainable future for all.
Representatives of nations were committed to building better civil-military relations within the African sub-region. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has reaffirmed the federal government's sustained commitment to safeguarding press freedom, promoting diverse opinions and protecting the rights of journalists. This was at an event organized by the Nigerian Union of Journalists to commemorate 2024 World Press Freedom Day. Salihu Guanara reports.
In addition to their roles in the development of any democratic society, members of the pen profession have been reminded to reflect and sustain the sacrifices of their founding fathers and endeavor to be critical partners in nurturing democracy.
Press freedom is very important to uphold. Freedom of expression is something that nobody should toy with. But I keep telling us also and reminding us that your freedom also has to come with enormous responsibility. You cannot allow purveyors of what is called fake news to occupy your space. It is so easy for anybody now to pick his pen or to pick his phone or his computer and say something or write something that will put this country in a problem.
The federal government says it is conscious of the fundamental importance of a free and independent press in fostering democracy, promoting transparency, and safeguarding human rights, and therefore wants journalists to reciprocate this gesture by protecting the excesses of misinformation and disinformation.
As members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, what they do is very important for our democracy. We'll continue to strive to encourage them, to support them, and to ensure that the press is always given the free space for them to practice their profession.
Nigeria's democracy under the renewed hope, the minister assured is government by the friends of the media and for the media. In Abuja, Saliu Guanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, media should continue to play a crucial role in checking the excesses of those in government, helping exposing corruption and abuse of power, while helping to prevent authoritarianism and promote adherence to the rule of law. This was the consensus at the Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Freedom and Good Governance Awards 2024. Haman Jabani reports that Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, was honored with the Good Governance Award for Mass Mobilization.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Freedom and Good Governance Award is aimed not only to celebrate the outstanding achievements of journalists and advocates of press freedom, but also to recognize the vital link between press freedom and good governance in a democratic society. It is in the light of this that speakers reminded participants that the Constitution mandates the media to hold government accountable, operate freely, and be protected because it is crucial for good governance. Nevertheless, media practitioners must operate responsibly by taking adequate steps to report accurate, objective, and balanced news, while the doctrine of fairness is considerably reflected in their reportage.
I strongly believe that for a viral, vibrant, and free press to thrive in any nation, including our country, Nigeria, there is the need for an enabling legal environment and efficient judicial system. We all have a role to play in democracy. And democracy must be fought for. Democracy must be defended. Good governance is a very simple way of defending democracy.
But now is transitioning from crisis reporting for journalists to stabilization reporting. Journalists have been granted the free space to operate, and even some outstanding journalists have been asked to join government.
Let us recognize that press freedom is not a privilege, but a right. It's not a luxury, but a necessity. Let us therefore pledge to defend and protect freedoms that we hold dear, for they are the foundation upon which our democracy rests.
The event honored media honors, political and public office holders who have actively supported press freedom and significantly contributed to the development of Nigeria. Among them is the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdulhamid Dambos, who received the Good Governance Award Mass Mobilization. Pauline Kujevana of NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center as torchbearer of Press Freedom Award, and many other recipients for different categories. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a quick break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NTAi, have smashed an international drug syndicate with national and international networks, while an ex-convict was arrested with assorted illicit drugs. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim has details.
The unraveling of the drug cartel started on 20th of April when their cargo of 4 suitcases containing a total of 17.6 kilograms of loud and drug candies arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. No fewer than 5 members of the cartel were arrested in an intelligence-led operations that lasted 2 weeks in Lagos, Abia and Anambra states. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives on stop-and-search operation along Abuja-Abaji Highway on 1st May intercepted a 40-feet gas tanker. Upon a thorough search, 511 jumbo sacks of cannabis sativa were discovered coming from Ondo State and meant to be delivered in Abuja for further distribution. 4 suspects were arrested in connection with the consignment. Also during the week under review in Osun State, NDLEA arrested a 51-year-old ex-convict who is currently facing trial for another drug offense at the Federal High Court. At the time of his latest arrest, 4.4 grams of cocaine, 28.5 kilograms of cannabis sativa, 20 tabs of Rofinol weighing 6.2 grams, and 812 pills of tramadol were all found in his possession. Different illicit substances were intercepted in Kano, Kaduna, Osun, Seme, Bayelsa, Bauchi, and Benue states. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has dissociated itself from a report circulating in a section of the media claiming it has released a list of former governors being investigated for alleged corruption. A statement by the head of media and publicity of the commission, Dele Oyewale, says the so-called list is a disingenuous fabrication designed to achieve motives known only to the authors. He urged the public to ignore the report as it is false and misleading. The commission advised the media to cross-check facts about matters under investigation with the commission to avoid misleading the public with false reports. Now, there is a saying that thousands have lived without love, not one without water. Connotes the important role of the elements in human existence. Despite its numerous uses, it still claims lives when necessary safety standards are not followed. It is because of this that a lifeguard refresher training was held to acquaint participants with the international best standards and techniques. Olajide Bello reports.
Nigeria in recent times has experienced cases where both the young and old have drowned and lifeguards could not perform any form of life-saving activity or cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. Both at home and traveling, safety, according to experts, is germane, and that is why this gathering is championing the cause. Isaac Onoja is a lifeguard instructor.
But ultimately, drowning awareness and water safety must be taught to people who come around water.
What are the safety equipment and techniques a lifeguard must possess?
Pool, you need this is a flexible rescue material you can use to rescue. You need the line. This is a pole. This is a pole you can use to rescue someone in the pool by staying outside. You just hand it over somebody who is struggling and you recover the person out. You need to have a life buoy. It's called a life buoy.
To curb incidents of drowning in swimming pools, what role can the government play?
Safety Department, the Federal Ministry of Health should take this very seriously. Go and check these swimming pools, check those who have commercial pools, and are they following health and safety standards? If not, we'll keep losing Nigerians.
He also spoke against the load and go syndrome of drowned victims and those with heart attack.
We do not allow you to move anybody in a cardiac arrest or somebody who has drowned to the hospital. If you move them, you actually aided their death. You need to perform on site. What people do in Nigeria is load and go.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, according to Isaac, should be learnt by all and sundry as a first aid administered to save lives. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has extended his congratulations to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, on his birthday. The President said the Deputy Speaker is of a remarkable leadership trajectory from serving as Chairman of Bende Local Government Area in Abia State at a young age to offering his expertise as Senior Special Assistant to a Governor and to winning the seat for Bende Federal Constituency in 2019. The President praised that God grants the Deputy Speaker many more years in good health, while wishing him renewed vigor and success in his service to the nation. Let's now get to check on Monday's weather prospects. All right. I'm seeing the sports graphic there. Let's get some sports, and Suleiman Musa is our guide.
The new Super Eagles coach, Finidi George, has emphasized the need for Super Eagles to triumph over the two important World Cup qualifying matches against South Africa and Benin Republic early next month. Finidi George reacted after his brief meeting with the NFF in Abuja, as the visit was to acquaint him with the workings of the football house and also to have a one-on-one discussion with his employers. In another development, defending champions Golden Eaglets of Nigeria will face Burkina Faso in their opening fixture at the Wafu B Under-17 Championship. Manu Garba's side will take on Togo in their second game on Sunday, May 19. Their last group game against Togo is scheduled for Accra Stadium on Wednesday, May 22. The finalists will represent the zone at the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations. And to a little bit of athletics, Nigeria's quartet of Samuel Ogazi, Ella Onojoviwu, Chidi Okezi, and Esther Joseph competing in the mixed 400-meter events of the ongoing World Relays in the Bahamas have qualified for the Paris Olympics holding later this year. They ran a time of 3 seconds 13 minutes 0.79 to finish second behind United States of America to book one of the two automatic qualifying spots. And finally, to tennis. World number 1 Iga Swiatek down Arina Sabalenka in a stunning Madrid Open final to win the title for the first time on Saturday in what was a repeat of last year's clash at the WTA 1000 clay courts tournament. Coming back from 1-3 down in the decider and saving 3 match points in total was what Swiatek needed to claim a 7-5, 4-6, 7-6 victory to secure the trophy. With the win, Swiatek has now won each of the WTA 1000 and 500 tournaments held on European clay at least once to go 3 French Open titles on Roland Garros, joining Elina Sabalenka with 30 victories this season. With Sport Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
And Sports Updates concludes the news on NTA International. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.